Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is for Haley 2024, The Movements, Government Reform Ideas. Now, this is the fourth video of 9 that I'm going to talk about competitive currencies. So we're going to have roughly 1,000 different competitive currencies, fully backed up with real assets, and they're going to have standardized units. So let's discuss how that's going to work. First of all, this video is going to be on the gain and loss of different assets. So we're going to discuss that. Let's put that into context in a minute. But first, Haley 2024, the movement calls for competitive governance. And when you talk about banks, we're going to also talk about competitive governance for banks. Every bank gets to choose who's going to govern them. People are going to have very good knowledge about what standards they have, and nobody's going to want to go to a bank that does not protect their interests. So there could be a nice balance between protecting the bank's interest and protecting the consumer's interest. So you have to understand the whole system. It's important to go back and look through the competitive regulatory agency structure and see how all that works. Now, let's go through the 9 different videos I want to do. I already talked about creating monetary currency asset portfolios. Really quickly, it's an empty storeroom. You start putting assets, many different types of assets into there, and you can create currency based off the exact value of those assets. This video is going to be on the gain and loss of those. So we're going to talk about the gain and loss of stocks, bonds, loans, precious metals, and the like. The operations of an MCAP, very quickly, people can put more assets into there and gain currency from it, or you can take assets out of it with that currency, then the currency vanishes because the assets are out of the storeroom. So assets are created when you put assets in and vanishes when you take the assets out. The currency has to match the value of the assets. So we talked about the back dollar, how that's going to be the average of all 1,000 different currencies, and how we have to sync in value. This one's going to be on the gain and loss. The next videos are going to be on MCAP, settling up, how we're going to do the settling up. The 6th video is going to be on the assets of the MCAP, keeping the value of the assets honest. Most people are going to initially have the thought pattern, and I did originally, how we're going to keep those assets honest. And then you just have to think about it a little bit, and there's a lot of different ways to keep the assets honest, the pricing honest. The Federal Reserve and the transition, and the practical use of the competitive currencies. So we're about halfway through. In December, we're going to go through the whole, we're going to put all of them online, all my social media. We'll have it online in December of 2021. So you'll be able to get it there. Plus, everything's will be on my website. I'll have all these videos on my website by the end of December of 2021. So gain and loss. So we put everything in the context. We have a storeroom full of value, a lot of different assets. We'll discuss all the assets on another video, but real quick, stocks, bonds, precious metals, commodities, even loans and stuff like that. These things in the regular economy gain and lose value all the time on a daily basis. Hopefully not too much on a daily basis, but over time they change in value. Stocks obviously the stock market changes in value every day. And a lot of things that's going to be in this, will be in the stock market, because you want things in the trading market to keep the values honest. Okay, and MCAP adjusts in value in 2 ways. First, it can gain or lose assets. So if you have 1,000 ounces of gold, that would be, I think, $1.5 million or so. But if you add another 1,000 ounces of gold, you're going to get another $1.5 million. So we now be $3 million worth of gold, of assets. You can put $1 million worth of loans in there, mortgage-backed securities. You can do stocks. You can do a lot of different things. Those things are going to change in value. You can add or lose assets in your portfolio. And the second way is that assets lose or gain value per asset. Gold goes up and down in value. Loans go up and down in value. Obviously, stocks go up and down in value. Bonds are pretty steady unless something major happens. And commodities obviously go up and down in value. The barrels of oil, corn, all these things, you can have a bad crop and the corn prices go up. You can have a Middle East war or something, and the supply of oil is diminished and the price goes up. There's a lot of issues going on around there. So the assets can gain or lose in value, or you can add or lose assets in your portfolio. Okay, the value of an MCAP adjusts daily, or probably going to be constantly, just like a stock market does, constantly. The value of an MCAP adjusts daily as the value of every asset in the MCAP changes in the trading market. Every CRA currency must continuously adjust its number of currency units so that each currency unit's value matches the BD, which is the average unit's value. So everybody has to always go to the average. You have to change the number of units they have, not the value of each unit. The value of each unit has to stay matched to the BD. So people are losing and gaining units of currency in their digital account. So if you have a CRA currency, hopefully it won't be any more than 0.1% in a day, or really more than 1% over a good month or long period of time. Hopefully it just fluctuates within that little a little 1% or whatever. And if your currency loses constantly, you're going to want to change currency. That's a free market accountability. But then again, you're not losing what you own. When you lose currency units, you're not losing what you own. What you own lost value, or what you own gained value. Let's say gold went up and you're heavy on gold in your MCAP, then what you own gained value. What you own didn't change. You still owned that much gold. Okay, let's keep on going. The rest of this section deals with existing assets. So let's get rid of real quick assets going in and out of the MCAP. Let's just say the assets remain the same number of stocks, bonds, gold. Nothing goes in or out. It's always going to be changing, by the way. There's a lot of factors involved. But for this thought pattern right here, let's just talk about existing assets gaining or losing value, such as gold or stocks adjusting in the trading market. Obviously, we can have a lot of different assets. We'll discuss that in the other video. Okay, I want to go into it now, but I want each video to be 10 to 15 minutes tops. If the MCAP gains value compared to the average, that MCAP gains units of its currency. So if you outdid the average, of all 1,000 MCAPs, then you gain a little bit of units. Some will lose a little bit of units. And there'll be stabilizers, financial instruments that stabilize the value of an MCAP. We'll discuss that later. Or you can hold an account with the BD, which is an average, which means you're not going to lose or gain anything. It's going to be very, very steady. If an MCAP loses value compared to the average, the MCAP loses units of CRA currency. So your currency doesn't lose value. The unit of currency doesn't lose value. You lose units of currency. That way the units can always sync up with other units. Nobody wants to go to the store and say currency A would be $10, currency B $11, currency C $4. No, that's crazy. There's value in syncing the value of a unit of currency and all talking one unit, the BD. The owner of the CRA currency do not lose or gain what they own. Just like I was talking about a minute ago. You don't lose what you own. What they own, the owners of the currency, what they own loses or gains value compared to the average of all the assets. It's going to create, when you have 1,000 competing to be the best currency, the most stable currency, we're going to have a very stable currency. No inflation is possible with this because everything is going to be the ownership of assets, ownership of things of worth, a wide variety, a wide portfolio of things of worth. What people own, barrels of oil to housing units to a lot of different things. So let's keep on going. Now, don't get me wrong. A housing unit in California could go up in value versus a housing unit in Texas can go down compared to the average, compared to the BD. So yeah, that can happen, but what you own is not going to change the value. And when you have a broad enough portfolio, there is no inflation anymore. Okay, let's keep on going. The owner of a unit of currency still owns the same percentage of the assets in the MCAP. The MCAP loses 1% of the value compared to the average, and again, this probably will take well more than a month before you can lose or gain that a 1%. Very doubtful that you're going to lose 1% unless the MCAP just does poorly, or some MCAPs just really excel with some really hot stocks or something, and that's probably not going to happen because nobody wants to go into a very risky stocks for their currency. But some people will, but there'd be instruments to do that. But there's instruments to stabilize, or they'll be created. I can envision those easily. If an MCAP loses 1% of the value compared to the average of all MCAPs, then those holding that MCAP digital CRE currency lose roughly 1% of their units of CRE currency. The gain and losses will balance out over 1,000 currencies daily. So roughly half will lose, half will gain. Most of them will stay real close to that average. So on a daily basis, you're not going to see much changing in your bank account. Obviously, if you need to be really close on your bank account to make sure you're not getting overdrawn, you're going to want to go with more BD, more stable currencies without that risk of even 1% change. But what you own is going to be changing. That bank account's going to change a little bit with the value. Probably not much. You got $5,000, it might go to $5,001. $5,000 might go to $4,999.94 or something. It's going to be just pennies on the dollar, or pennies on the thousands of dollars, not pennies on the dollar. Probably not that much, not unless you had a really, really bad day. Okay, that's it for this video. About 12 minutes on. This is, I think, the fourth one out of 9 videos. So let's go to the next video. You'll probably be able to find them all in December. But go to my website. You'll be able to find them all there on my monetary page, at least by the end of December of 2021. Until the next video.